Hello everyone and welcome to our webinar series today. Today I'm joined by Senior Vice President Sales Leader Chris Carlson, and she has got some fabulous information that she's going to share with you about getting your newest consultants off to a strong start, because we know the first 90 days of a consultant's career are so important to them getting off to the best start possible. So I've invited her to join us and share her tips that have been making such a fabulous difference in her business. So Chris, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Stacy. I'm so excited to be here and to talk about one of my favorite things to do, which is help consultants get off to a strong start and just have success in sharing our Norwex mission. So the first thing I want to talk about for just a minute is there's really, when you start and you're brand new, I think any leader on this call, we want to take ourselves back mentally to what that felt like. And it can feel like we are being pulled in so many different directions with emails coming from our leaders and the company, Norwex, and all different areas. It's really important, I think, to simplify in every way our business. And so I think there's really three key components. I think we can feel like this is such a busy job, and really we can focus on three things that are going to help us be successful. And then we're going to get into, after I talk about these, the meat of this call. But the first thing that really is important to everybody is personal business. That's never going to go away. I don't care if you're one day into this business or if you've been doing this for me, almost 6 years. What's never changed for me is the focus of getting up in the morning and looking at my day and going, you know what, I'm going to touch my business today, and the first thing I'm going to look at is, how do my parties look? Are they where I want them to be? How are my parties looking coming up? Are my hostesses keeping in contact with me? We can control one thing only in our business, you guys, and that's our personal business. So always begin there, and you will be successful. The second thing that is good to focus on is what we're going to be talking about today, which is our new team members. How are they doing? Are we helping them? Are they getting off to a strong start? That's a big chunk of my time, and it's one of my favorite things, and we're going to go into more about that. And the third thing that I think when we're talking about simplifying that I keep my eyes on is my leadership development. Really looking at the people that are coming up and working and adding team members and growing into leaders, whether that's a TC or a senior vice president or wherever you are in the business plan. That's something where I like to spend my time supporting my leaders. And I think if you focus on those three things, I know some of you might be going, oh, but Chris, you didn't talk about this, or you didn't talk about that, what about the people that have been doing it for 6 months and they're not leaders? You know what, you guys, there's so many different ways we can focus and send emails and reach out to those guys, but just these three I think should help you to narrow your focus a little bit and not feel overwhelmed. So why do we need to get our consultants off to a strong start? What is that all about? You know what, there's a lot that goes into that. One, it's just fun. There's nothing more fun than helping people get off to a strong start. They're excited, you're excited, it feels good. It's going to keep you happy as a leader, as a consultant. There's nothing more exciting than seeing someone grow beside you and learn. So excitement's there. Excitement builds momentum. And there's every part of this business, momentum is the key. Whether that's your parties, your hostess coaching, someone who's interested in the business that you're going to talk to about, or in this case, a new consultant. Remember how that felt in the beginning? It's so exciting, and we want to help them to keep that excitement and that momentum going. Confidence is the key to a happy consultant. You know why? Happy consultants don't quit, you guys. I'm going to say that again. Confidence is the key to a happy consultant. And the way that our team members are going to be confident is by doing this business and getting off to a strong start. I love Brian always says this, and it just sticks with me, Brian Dill. You will never have anyone walk up to you and say, you know what, I've got 8 parties on my calendar, and but I'm going to quit. That just won't happen. If people have parties on their calendar, if your teammates do, they're not going to walk away. They're going to be happy. So again, that comes down to getting them off to a strong start. Okay, industry statistics says that if you don't move your teammates into leadership within the first 12 to 18 months, they're probably going to walk away. Okay, that's been my experience as well. So with that, if you're getting them off to a strong start and following this plan that I'm going to be going through with you, you're going to find that very often people are going to move into leadership, because in the beginning, recruiting happens kind of organically a lot of the time if you're working at a, getting them off to a strong start. Set expectations immediately. This is big, you guys. In the beginning, all that people want when they're brand new is they want you who sign them up, and this is if you have one consultant or if you have 800, okay? If you are brand new today and you sign someone up tomorrow, guess what? You're the leader. You're ahead of them. You get to bring them alongside and help them, and you need to set expectations from the very beginning. That's going to give them peace and comfort that, hey, at least somebody knows what they're doing, right? So set those expectations. Okay, talking about getting people, let's get into it. How do we get people off to a strong start? Well, this is no different from any other part of our business. Process is key, okay? Now, my process that I'm going to share with you is just one process. And all of you are going to have a different process. And really the key is not the type of process that you create. It's just that you have a process for your new team members. So create, for me, I'm going to walk you through what I do that's been working very well. Create a standard welcome letter that goes out to all of the new recruits that are in your downline. And for me, that letter goes out weekly. And that goes out to everyone in my downline. I choose to do it up until the point of a red jacket. And then I have a conversation with that red jacket on if, usually at that point they're doing their own something. Sometimes even before that. But that's a good general rule, I would say, that I would follow. So yes, everybody, not only your personal recruits should be getting this letter from you. Okay, and in that letter you can say, I'm sure you've got an awesome upline. I'm sure you've got awesome support. But I just wanted to let you know what tools that I'm offering and who I am, and that I'm here for you as well. Okay, we don't want anybody falling through the cracks. So it's been a very successful thing for me. I want to talk a little bit and break down what goes into my welcome letter that goes out. Simplicity is key, you guys. I would not have anything more than 6 points at the very most in this letter that goes out. And very minimal wording. Because if you put a lot of wording in there, they won't read it if it's too detailed. They're getting, like we already talked about, a lot of stuff coming at them. Okay, so let's get to it. In my letter, I have something for my Facebook group that we have set up. Again, this is my Facebook group. So there may be a lot of other Facebook groups, but they're being invited to, if they want to, join into mine. I personally think that Facebook has been the best gift that we've all been given as far as getting our teammates trained, letting them learn from other consultants, asking questions. It's a safe place with lots of consultants. And you know what? If you have a small group that you're starting and you're a TC, or you've even just added a few, what a perfect thing to add. Start a group. Create a group on Facebook. It's free. Why not? Right? So that is one thing that is on my letter. Another thing is a new recruiting call. That's a weekly call. I do them every week. They are 20-minute calls. And people dial in and we go through a series of trainings, which I'm going to be walking through in more detail in just a minute, so I'm not going to go any more into that right now. We have a team training website. If you have one, be sure that they know where it is. So we've got the one with Norwex, and also just be sure if you've got one. Some people do, some people don't. You don't need to have one, but be sure that you put some verbiage in there on how they can get training from the site, whether it's consultant to office or your team training site. Schedule calls. Okay, so what I used to do is I used to do set calls, schedule them with your upline, sales leader or above. What I've been doing now, which you guys I think has been such a game changer, and I'd highly recommend this, is rather than having set scheduled calls, what if you tried doing calls where you say, when you're new, please check in with me every single party for the first 6 parties that you have. I have found that the best training can happen, A, when they're coaching you, and B, right after they've done their own party, leave it up to them to text you or call you and say, I want a debrief. That's what I'm calling it. Let's have a debrief call where I can walk you through the wins that you had and something maybe that I can help you with for your next party. That's a really big one. I'd highly recommend you try. 6 parties in 45 days. You're going to hear me talk a lot about that. We're going to talk more in a little bit about that. That is your key to success. If there's only one thing you take away from this training with me, it is getting your team members to get 6 parties booked in 45 days. It's critical. The last thing that I want to talk about with my process that I have is, so that's the letter. That's the letter with my bullets that I just went through. Okay. The next thing in my process is about 2 days after that, they get a coupon sent to them that says, when you get your 6 parties booked in 45 days, you need to send when those parties are and the details, and you will get a $50 shopping spree from me just to congratulate you and cheer you on. And right when you're new, you guys remember, it's so exciting to get all that new product. So how fun that we can say, you know what? You get this if you work hard and you get those 6 parties booked. You always want to incent things that you want to have happening within your team. So the thing that I really love about this is going to work with the fresh start, because you as a leader, when they get that first order in and when they hit that first fresh start step, you get a $150 shopping spree. So I feel like this coupon is just giving back, and you just let them send whatever they'd like to you, and you're just saying, way to go, woohoo, I'm cheering for you. So getting your new recruits on board, we're going to talk through for a little bit here these calls that I talked about, because I think that this is going to help you to kind of know, again, we're trying to weed down what's important to talk about in the beginning for our consultants and keep it really simple for them. So my first call, generally the calls that I do on a weekly basis run about 20 minutes, and I try to keep 10 minutes open for any questions, because there's so many questions in the beginning when you're brand new. So my first call that I have, as a team, what we do is we have that first order to hit Fresh Start number 1, the $400 order. Typically people choose to order that. I encourage my consultants to go in and, they're not investing in the beginning with Norwex, which is wonderful. So because of that, I think that it's great to invest a little bit in the beginning to get all of the other products that I personally want my new consultants using. Because I know that the biggest way to get excitement and keep it going is for them to try all of the different products that Norwex has, the wonderful products that they haven't experienced yet. And when they get them, guess what? They're going to want to talk to people and say, oh my goodness, now I've tried this product, and now I've tried this product. So I feel like for their benefit, the best thing that can happen is for them to get all of those products. So typically they're going in, they're ordering that first order, and they're making, having success with that. You can certainly, if that doesn't work in the budget, or if that's not the way that you want to do things, you can go ahead and get that first party going right away. But we're talking about that, and if they want to enter that first order, that's what this first call is going to be. I'm going to be walking them through that quickly. So this call happens right away because I want them getting that order in right away. A supply order, I think it's a great idea to help them with an idea of what they need. Again, that supply order can be really overwhelming in the beginning. So we actually created a suggested list within our team, just a simple list with these are the things that would be great to have. Another thing that is key is the best training that you can do in the beginning is have shadowing happen. Have them come along with you or one of your team members. I don't do launch parties with my new consultants that sign up. They do their own launch party. So they're ready to go. If they come and shadow me once or twice, they're ready to go and they feel empowered and they've learned everything. I can sit on the phone and talk to them for 3 hours about all the steps of a party, but isn't it better to just have them come and watch how you set up a party, how you talk to the hostess, how you greet the guests, what do you do during your presentation, how do you talk about booking seeds and recruiting seeds, how do you check people out at the end, how do you hostess coach? Did you hear all of those trainings that I could have had on phone? That would be a lot of talking, but guess what? If they come and watch at a party, it's all done right there. So that we talk about lining up those shadowing dates. We also talk about launch parties and what is a launch party and why are they important? You know, that in the beginning, I didn't know what a launch party was. It's the only time in your business when you're brand new that you get to have a launch party that's I'm brand new. Okay, you can always restart your business, but there's something special about that being brand new. And I really encourage two, one like during the week on maybe a weeknight, and then one on a weekend afternoon. Why not have two launch parties? So, and then I usually go into, once I'm done talking about launch parties, well, how do you do invitations? Evite is a great one. Facebook events right now in my business, my experience, and for my team, again, Facebook as a whole is a gift, but we can really tell a story with Facebook events with Norwex. We can post before and after pictures on there. We can show videos on there. So Facebook is primarily what I use and what I train on right now for I create the event and let my hostess come and join. Okay, I do all the work and make it very simple, and I train on that. Another thing, if you've not heard of RedStamp, RedStamp is a phenomenal tool for texting, sending your hostess. It's an app on your phone, and it works great. So I'll go through the details of how to use RedStamp. And that's enough for our first call, right? That's a lot of information, but I go through it pretty quickly, and then I open it up for questions at the end. Okay, moving into our second call. Second call, we're talking about, this is truly the most important call that I'm going to have, and it's the key to success, you guys. 6 parties booked in 45 days. This is the main focus of getting them off to a strong start. I always tease people and say, okay, so if you've got all these pretty folders decorated and you've studied all that you can on silver and you know every fact that you can about microfiber, and they're telling me about their folder, I'm like, how many parties do you have? How are you doing on your 6 parties booked? Well, I haven't done that yet because I've been, making pretty folders. Well, no one's going to see your folders, you guys, if you don't have parties booked. So, and they'll kind of laugh. It brings them back to here's your focus, right? There's so many things you can do, but this is a biggie. So why is it important to get 6 parties booked right away? Okay, for your team members, for your consultants, they're going to qualify quickly. Okay. That's huge. That's exciting. That's a weight off of them that they're worried about. Confidence is huge. We've already talked about that. They're going to gain experience when they're doing those parties, and I tell them to get them pretty close back to back, right? At least 2 a week. You don't want any big lulls when you're trying to learn this. So they're going to gain experience, and that's going to equal confidence for them, and confidence is key. They're immediately going to start making money. And you guys, people sign up with Norwex to make money. That's the #1 reason people join our teams. So we want them to immediately be seeing that they're earning that income and that they're making money. I can't tell you how many people have said, oh, I'm already making money. I can't believe it. I've never heard of a job where you can start your own business and immediately be making money. Well, that's what we have with Norwex. So that's key. And the last thing that I would say about this that's really important is they immediately, if they get 6 parties booked in 45 days and they're pretty close together, they're organically often going to start team building. Those new consultants are going to come to them and they're going to have a teammate that's going to sign up on their team, and that is so exciting. And that happens before you're really even beginning training on it. So with this, I've had people go, well, that sounds like a lot of pressure, or that seems like a lot to expect. I think that anybody on here that's a leader that has done this knows that the best thing we can do is get people doing parties. So it's not pressure, it's helping them knowing we know how to be successful, we want to pass that on. So my conversation goes like this with a new person. Now, I know that you're going to have big goals, and I'm so excited to talk about what you want to do with this, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to be in training together for a few months, you and me, and we're going to work really closely together. And like any job, you're kind of in training. Think of it, this is your training period, okay? And what's going to happen is after your training period, then we're going to talk about what you want your goals to be with this. But right now, I just want you to follow along with me. I want you to talk to your family, talk to your husband, let them know this might be a little busier time for you because you're in training. But when you get through that, everything's going to go smoothly, and then we'll talk about future goals. How does that sound? And they'll come back to you, you guys, and they'll say, that sounds great. I wanted someone to train me and walk alongside me. Okay? The third call, the second call I'm going to tell you one more time is the most important thing you're going to do. The third call is you've talked about launch parties, you've talked about getting those parties booked. Now we want those parties to be solid, successful parties. So we're going to talk about hostess coaching because that's what comes next. And we're going to review, that those parties are booked. And we're going to talk about that most people don't even know what the word hostess coaching means. I didn't when I started. So what does that mean? Why is that important? Share your tips. What's made you successful with going through hostess coaching? Do you have a process? Here's another place where a process is very helpful. Pass on your process to them so it makes it simpler, and you're not, it's duplicatable. You're passing this on because then they can pass it on. So I have set emails again, and I've set reminders, and I pass that all on and explain that these 6 parties you have, we want to get at least 8 to 10 people at each of them so that you're successful and those parties move your business forward. And here's how you do that. There's so many wonderful webinars on Consultant to Office. Refer your team to those. They're going to be very, very helpful to hostess coaching. There's so many different ones. But again, the most important thing is just process and talking about how you do the invite and then what you say, word choices, how you talk to your hostess. I kind of often think of hostess coaching as kind of being a little bit of a counselor. If she's feeling defeated that no one's coming, you're going to uplift her. That's our job as a consultant. So it's kind of teaching that and talking about creating the systems that are going to work for them. You can help them with that. You've done it. Okay, call number 4 that I go through. This is where, as I'm talking here, they're kind of rocking and rolling now, right? They've got their launch party, they've got their order in, they've got their hostess coaching going on, and they're feeling comfortable with that. They probably maybe have 1 new team member already because you've talked about which friend would you like to work with. You're starting to plant that seed. When they have 1 consultant, this is where you're going, guess what? You only need 2 more and you're already a team coordinator. You're already going to be a leader in the company, and how exciting is that? Okay, so again, this is momentum, you guys. We're keeping that going. I would talk on this call about, a little bit about why would you want to be a TC? What is the vision? Why is that exciting? A little bit about how you do that at a party. What do you say? I tell people you just share your heart. Tell them why you signed up. Why are you a consultant with Norwex? What do you love about it? Okay, that's going to be your best recruiting seed. But honestly, part of it's just saying, this is a recruiting seed, this is what you say, and this is part of your job. And I bet you might not have known that, but it's really not an option. This is just what we do with our team. How could you not want to share? It's so exciting. It's something that you need to tell everybody, and it's not pushy. You'll have that sometimes, right? You hear it's pushy. What if I never shared this opportunity with you? How would that feel? So again, it's giving them permission that you need to go out and tell this with everybody that you can. Pass out, have the business opportunity brochures, talk about that they should all, that is on my list for supplies, but make sure that they know that that's something that you can hold up during your presentation and say, you know what, if you're interested in this, here's a brochure, take it with you, and just put down your questions, and we're going to connect and get back together and talk about it. But have those when you're checking people out at your station for sure. And I talk about it during my presentation and hold it up and show people. Okay? When they get, and this is really important, in the beginning, if they get someone that says, yes, I'm interested when they're checking them out, you want to let them know. It's really important, just like with hosts, when they book a party, to get the date down of when they're going to follow up and talk within 24 hours. Right away, I'm so excited, when can we talk? I just can't wait to share this with you. Okay? And then the last thing about recruiting that I really think is a biggie is they're going to be so excited when someone's interested. So it's important to say, don't overshare. We are in a business of just meeting people where they're at in every aspect of this business. So if they want to ask you something, you're going to answer that, but that only. Do not talk and go into every single detail and talk about Fresh Start and, oh, you can go to Hawaii and then you can do this. No, just tell me what you're wondering about. Tell me what you want to know about this business. Tell me about the concerns that you might have with this business, and just answer those, you guys. Okay? So why this strategy works. The party puts them in front of people, and that's key, you guys. We want them to get out and get in front of people and start practicing. Okay? Their confidence is gained really quickly, which is so important with recruiting and really with everything. It's going to cast a clear vision from day one. So they see right away, oh my goodness, I can make money. And look, I'm really doing this. And I didn't know if I could do this, and I'm doing it. That's exciting. Okay? And set the expectation, it sets the expectation that everybody can quickly become a TC. I'm telling you, on our team, you guys, people just become TCs. It's the way it is. It's exciting, and everybody's doing it. And there's nothing more fun than that. Shows enthusiasm about leadership and the excitement of that. That's huge. Share the earning potential. Don't be shy, you guys, as leaders, to tell people what's possible. That's so exciting to them. They don't know. Tell them. Don't be shy about sharing your income. Okay? There's something about this where we don't really know that at this level you're going to make this, so share a little bit. Give them a vision. And then always encourage, if you always being looking ahead to the next conference, because that is your best tool Norwex gives us to get them shining and moving forward. So right now, you guys, it's all about national conference. Get these guys, let them know, even if they're new, it's where you want to be. It's something that we all do together, and it's going to be the best thing that you can do for your business. So to summarize, systems are key for you and your team really in every different way. So create systems that are simple and they're duplicatable, that they can pass on. They're going to follow your lead whatever you set. So set expectations, because they're going to follow what you're doing. So with parties, you guys, if you're not doing parties, I'm telling you they won't follow your lead. You've got to be out there, the front runner, and doing this. And build relationships with your team, because that is the best part of this entire business. That is the gift more than anything that we have. So with that, I hope that was helpful. That wraps it up. I feel like I talked really fast, but Stace, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Chris. You had so many amazing tips in there for us. And I did forget to mention in the beginning, if you had any questions, make sure you type them in and we will answer them. So I'll leave this open for a couple minutes at the end for any questions to come in that we can answer and I can type back to you. Otherwise, we'll respond and send them to you by email. But Chris, your tips were so valuable, and I can hear the passion in your voice. I can hear how convinced you are and convicted you are that this works. And the reality is it does. Because if anyone just looks at your team and looks what your organization is doing, these things that you've put into practice, these tools, these tips, this strategy has really made a huge difference in your organization. So congratulations, and thank you for sharing with all of us.
Oh, thank you. It was a blast.
Absolutely. Well, great. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. And this webinar will be recorded. It'll be on your back office under the Norwex U tab with the archive training. So thanks again, Chris, for your time. And everybody have a wonderful day.